We live in a culture today that relates marriage almost to a position of idolatry. First of all, let me start this disclaimer. I'm madly in love with my wife. I have the most amazing marriage in my life, and we've been married for over 24 years. But the truth of the matter is that in today's world, more than 50% of our population is composed of single people. The sad part is that many single people believe that there's something wrong with them. And that's as a result of a lot of messages that we give to them. You know, how many times we find ourselves saying, oh, when you get married, you will understand this. If you get married, you would understand this. Or, you know, almost as it's sort of like, until you're married, you're nobody. Well, let me tell you this. It wasn't until the moment that I spent 5 years in prison in not a relationship that I began to find myself who I was as a man and who I was as a human being. And if I find myself as a man, and if I am satisfied with myself and who I am, then I'm able to add this to another relationship, whether it be in marriage or just friendship. But it's not until I find my identity in myself, in who I was created to be, that I'm able to just be and give anything to anybody. So, you know, we need to stop looking at single people or even single people. You need to start looking at yourself as there's something wrong. And if you're broken, as someone telling you, listen, you're 30, 35, 40, the clock is ticking. Listen, two of the most amazing and greatest humans that lived this earth, forget about any religion, just human beings, was a guy named Jesus, a Jew carpenter from Nazareth, and another Jewish, very devoted religious person, Paul. Those two people's teachings have impacted and changed the course of Western civilization for eternity. And guess what? They were single. Imagine you looking up at Jesus and telling him, hey, Jesus, you know what, let's go back to the wedding at Cana, which is really important to me because, you know, when I make it to heaven, the first thing I want to know, I want to drink that wine. I'll be honest with you. I want to drink that perfect wine. But imagine telling Jesus at that wedding, hey, Jesus, why are you single? You're 33-year-old, buddy. The clock is ticking on you. Can you imagine that? We can't, right? Impossible. Then why do we do that to so many other people? You know, even with our children. You know, when are you going to get married? Why are you not married? What is wrong with you? Well, let me stop right now and tell you, nothing is wrong with you. You don't need to be married to be an amazing human being. You are amazing in and of yourself. And you need to find your identity in you, not in companion to somebody else, not as if you're just half of a person, and until that other half comes along, you will be complete. No, you are complete just as the way you were created. You know, reading today in church, that we're talking about reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And it's really, really great teachings there because here's the I guess the thrust of the message is that being single and being married, they're both good things. But being single and being married both bring enormous challenges. So therefore, there is no perfection and there is no ideal state. You know, so many women have been left by selfish men that just to only care about themselves. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't satisfy me no more, or you don't make me happy, or, you know, the truth of the matter is no woman needs to make you happy, and no man needs to make a woman happy. They need to make themselves happy. Once they're happy, then they can share that happiness. But you can't find that happiness in that other person. So, but a lot of single moms today, which are my heroes, are raising children, and you know, in a society where people look at them with a certain stigma. Well, I'm here to tell you that be proud that you're single. You are an amazing human being. And be proud that that man left that baby with you. Because the truth of the matter is, most men, and I'm talking in general, most men really won't make a good single dad. I mean, there's amazing single dads, don't get me wrong. But find that joy and happiness in who you are. You're not broken. He who left you did you a favor, because when a man leaves a woman, the woman, instead of needing to say, what is wrong with me, needs to say, you never deserved me. And the same applies on the other side too now. So I'm just talking mostly because I really have a burden for single moms. So my message to you is quit listening to the lies. When someone tells you, don't worry, you'll find someone else, stop them. Let them know. I don't need to find anybody else. If for the rest of my God, for the rest of my life, I choose to be single, wonderful. for the rest of my life, I choose to be in a relationship, wonderful. But either way, none of the states is going to be the one that I have to be happy. I need to be happy because I was created perfect in God's image. And once I find that joy and happiness in me, then you start finding your purpose for you, the reason you were created. Think about that. You can't find your purpose until you know who you are. How do you know you're supposed to be something when you don't even know who you are? So my message to you is find who you are. And then find joy in who you are, whether that be married or single. And then once you find joy in who you are, then find your purpose. Because there's a purpose for you. And that purpose might be for you while you're single. That purpose might be for you while you're married. I don't know. Only God knows. But what I'm saying is that neither state is the ideal state. And neither state is a broken state. So therefore, my message is, whatever situation we find ourselves in, make the best of it. Whatever situation we find ourselves in, find meaning and joy for ourselves. Don't look for someone else to be that person that you need to be happy. I've been around people that felt that the only way that they would be somebody in life is if they were married and had 12 kids. Praise God for those that do. But I'm going to tell you something. I have so many broken homes that felt that by having more kids, they'd be happier. Terrible. Broken. And if you have a broken home and you bring more kids into the world, you know what you do? You're going to create broken kids. Because I've seen it over and over again. Listen, I had to be in a relationship all my life, especially when I got power at the age of 21. I needed to be surrounded by women. I needed, and to a certain extent, it was because they fed that need to feel like God, to feel important, to be somebody that really had it all going together, to be praised, to be considered handsome or whatever. Truth of the matter, most of them that said that I was handsome, I was great, I was this and that, probably said it because they wanted my money. Not all, but some did, or most did. So I was always in a relationship. And then, the second time I went to prison, I was by myself. And it was difficult at the beginning, because I've been in a relationship, this is 1990, I've been in a relationship since 1974. And then all of a sudden I find myself lonely. And then, I was an atheist, so I had no meaning to my life. But I began to read the Bible as a book of, historical book. And then I began to read it as a book of philosophy. And I began to extract those teachings that were really, really powerful. That applied to every human being, applied to atheists and non-atheists. Applied to anyone that wants to be a good person. Applies to anyone that wants to make a difference in the world. Applies to anyone that wants to find meaning for their lives. And they were powerful. And then I began to realize, you know what? I really did not need anybody. And it wasn't until that point, probably the last 2.5 years of my life in prison, the second time, that I felt complete. And when I was released, I didn't have to find a relationship. I found my wife a year later. Well, I met her right away, but we entered into a relationship about 6 months to a year later. But the truth is, I already knew who I was, and I knew what the purpose for my life was. And she not added to me. I mean, she did not fill a part of my life that was missing. She just complemented my life. And because of the amazing person that she is, she has her identity, I have mine. And we love each other. But I don't need her, or she does not need me to be a complete person. We are complete in and of ourselves. And that's my message to you today. Find joy, find meaning. And if you are a married person, quit lying to those people by telling them, you will understand this when you get married. Or you will understand this. Or why are you not married? The clock is ticking. Holy cow. The clock is ticking is just as bad as when we used to have the purity message where they took out a rose and everybody went around and touched a petal and a petal and a petal. And at the end of the day, the preacher would say, who wants this rose that's been touched by everyone? Well, the truth of the matter is this. You know who wants this rose? Jesus wants this rose. And if you don't believe he's God, fine. Then just believe he's a great man. Because nobody has a problem with Jesus. People have a problem with those that say, who won this rose? You're not broken. We are not broken. A person created in God's image will never be broken. We might make bad choices, and we might not be living the life that we were created to be, but we are not broken by any means. So I urge you today, find meaning in yourself. Quit listening to the lies. And if you're married, then reach out to those that are not. Include them in your life. Include them in your family. Teach your kids that it's both good to be married and it's both good to be single. Teach your kids that it is a challenge to be married and it's a challenge to be single. But that neither state is the ultimate state. If you remain single the rest of your life, praise God. Listen, some of the most amazing and wisest individuals throughout history, think back, we're all single. Paul, Jesus, Mother Teresa, John, many figures, many philosophers, many people that have created writings that are still impacting us today, 1,500 years later, 2,000 years later. Think about that. They were single. And then throughout history, there's been amazing married people that have done the same. And what I want to stress by that is that to make a difference in the world, you don't have to be married. To make a difference in the world, you don't have to be single. So those that are single, you don't have to run off and get married so that you can become somebody important. And those of you that are married, you don't have to leave your wife or your husband so that you can make a difference in the world. You can make a difference in the world just in the state that you are. And don't force the situation. If you're single, don't be out there just seeking someone to make you happy. If you are, I promise you this, you never will be happy. Because it will not be until you yourself find happiness within you as a person, as a human being, as a perfect creation, not aesthetically, but inward. It is when you feel beautiful inward that you'll be able to portray beauty outward. But not till then. So, my good friends, I pray that in whatever situation in life you find yourself, that you find your meaning right there and then. And I pray that as you look at the world and you seek for your purpose, that you find joy and happiness in the creation that you are. If you're married, it's going to be a struggle. Listen, I've been married now 24 years. I was divorced twice before. And the truth is that it's difficult. I have to work on my marriage every day. And it brings great joy being married. I have an amazing wife. But the truth of the matter is that one day, she and I will be single. One of us will die. And when that happens, our half does not leave. Our other self that complements our entire whole left. But we'll still be joyful. Yeah, we'll go through sorrow, and we'll hurt, and we'll miss, and we'll cry. But we will not cry because we are nobody anymore. No, we are who we are, whether that person is with us or not. We will cry because we miss someone that we love. And if we're single, and we go through life, and we die single, just think about all the opportunities as a single person that you have that we don't have as a married person. And I'm not talking about romantic opportunities. I'm talking about opportunity to serve, to help, to do things, to go where you want to go without depending upon where the other person wants to go. Hey, to eat what you want to eat. And listen, to me, one of the best ones, to watch the TV program you want to watch. You only get to debate with yourself, nobody else. So find joy in being single. Find joy in being happy. Enjoy the moment. And when the challenges come, you will overcome them because you are perfect. And for the married couples, find joy in being married. Find joy in loving your wife, not in using your wife to fill a part of you that is empty. She can't, now that you're well. And when I say wife, I say the same thing for a spouse, for a husband. We are not whole because we're married, and we're not broken because we're single. Remember that. It's a lie. It's a lie. We are who we are, created perfect in God's image. Some of them will choose the married life. Someone will choose the single life. In either life, we can make a difference in the world. Either life, we can find meaning. Either life, we can find joy, redemption, and help so many that are hurting. So God bless you, and thank you so much. And thank God for being who you are, created perfect in His own image. Think about those words. Tell those words to yourself over and over again. You were created perfect in God's own image. Whoever you believe God is, you were created perfect. Perfect. You don't need somebody to make you perfect. You already are perfect. Be blessed.